I bet you didn't know the man everyone ignored on the street was actually the president in disguise. He was just another shadow in the city, a man in dirty clothes, tired eyes, invisible to the world. People hurried past, never noticing him. To them, he was just a beggar, another problem to ignore. But this beggar was President Kalin, undercover to see the truth his advisors hid. He left his palace, donned rags, and became invisible. His first stop, the city's main public hospital. The place reeked of sickness and fear. He shuffled through crowded halls unseen, just another piece of the scenery. He saw people lying on floors, children crying, parents desperate. This was not the hospital from government brochures. It was a place of pain and neglect. He watched as a wealthy man in a sharp suit arrived. Doctors and nurses rushed to help, smiling and clearing a path. Money bought respect and care. Poverty made you invisible. The president saw it all. He felt the weight of his people's suffering. Guards ignored him, nurses brushed past. He was just another forgotten soul. The truth was clear. The system favored the rich and abandoned the poor. This was the reality he needed to see. The pain in his heart grew heavier with every moment. He realized how far removed he'd been from his people's struggles. The hospital was a mirror of the nation's failures. He blended in perfectly, too perfectly. The suffering was real, and it was everywhere. This was the truth he came for, and it hurt more than he ever imagined. The president sat for hours watching heartbreak unfold. A young mother begged a nurse for medicine for her sick baby. "We don't have enough. Buy it outside," the nurse said, exhausted. The mother wept. She had no money. The president felt shame. This was his country, his failure. The hospital was not a place of healing, but of despair. An old man gasped for breath, told there were no beds. "Come back tomorrow," they said, as if tomorrow was guaranteed. The president's fists clenched. Where were the new beds he'd been promised? The system he'd boasted about was crumbling before his eyes. Then, a little girl approached him. She offered a piece of bread. "You look hungry, sir." In a place of pain, a child showed kindness. Her name was Alara. She'd been waiting with her sick mother for days. She didn't complain, just accepted it. Her resilience broke the president's heart. He saw the strength of his people in her. They were not weak, just trapped in a broken system. Alara's kindness gave him the resolve to act. He knew what he had to do. Suddenly, a commotion erupted at the entrance. The city's health commissioner, Marcus Thorne, swept in with arrogance, cameras in tow. He ignored the suffering, performing for the press. The president, still disguised, was in his way. A guard shoved him. "Out of the way, old man!" The commissioner sneered. "What is this filth doing here?" For the cameras, he slapped the beggar across the face. The sound echoed. The crowd gasped. The president felt the sting, not just on his cheek, but in his soul. He was humiliated as one of the forgotten. The commissioner laughed, oblivious to what he'd done. He hadn't just slapped a beggar, he'd slapped the soul of the nation. The pain was real and it belonged to everyone. The moment would change everything. Silence filled the hall as the beggar slowly stood. The limp was gone. His eyes burned with resolve. "Do you know who I am?" he asked, voice cutting through the tension. The commissioner scoffed. "You're nobody." But the guards hesitated, sensing something different. The crowd whispered, this was no ordinary beggar. From his shirt, the man produced a golden pin, the presidential seal. "I am President Kalin. This is my hospital. These are my people." Shock rippled through the crowd. Cameras flashed. The commissioner's arrogance turned to terror. He fell to his knees, begging forgiveness. The president ignored him. He knelt beside Alara, the little girl who'd shown him kindness. "Thank you," he said softly. "You showed me true leadership." Leadership wasn't about power, it was about compassion. The nation watched as their leader stood with the people. The truth was out. The president's disguise had revealed more than any speech could. The hospital was silent, but the country was about to roar. The moment was unforgettable. Everything was about to change. The nation would never be the same. The aftermath was swift. Commissioner Thorne was arrested for corruption and abuse of power. His trial was public, a warning to all officials. President Kalin declared the days of arrogance over. He announced a complete overhaul of the healthcare system. He called it Alara's Law, honoring the girl who showed him kindness. Hospitals received funding, medicine, and staff. Healthcare became a right, not a privilege. The president visited the hospital again, apologizing to patients. He kept his promise. Things changed. Alara's mother recovered and the president adopted Alara. She moved into the palace, her story becoming a national legend. Kindness became the nation's most valuable currency. The president's journey changed him and the country forever. He learned true leadership means walking among the people. It's about lifting others up, not ruling from above. President Kalen's story became a reminder. To serve, you must first walk in your people's shoes.